wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
Hello, Soul Tribe. Welcome. Come on in, everybody. Check in. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Let me get on this camera just a minute. Welcome, Soul Tribe. Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you. Let me know that you can hear me, please. Today is Sunday. It is February the 8th, 2026, and the time is 12:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace, love, and light to everybody. You can hear me? One love to the Soul Tribe. One mind, one heart, one soul. I love that, Sister Lisa. All right. It's not my birthday, family. Somebody said happy born day. It's not my birthday. My birthday is October the 1st, but thank you so much. My birthday is October the 1st. I was born in the 60s. But I'm here to bring some good news, as always. First of all, thank you all for being here. Thank you for everybody sending me messages. I don't think I've done a live in maybe 2 or 3 days. Maybe it might have been even longer than that. But the reason why I wasn't doing a live, thank you so much for saying you hope I feel better. Who's that? Daher? The herbal, because actually I've been in my bed for a while, for a few days. And even when I did the last live or two, I was not feeling well. Suddenly I just started coughing uncontrollably, and I had body aches and symptoms of the flu. And I mentioned that I wasn't feeling well. But one of the Soul Tribe members said on one of my posts to not view a cold or a flu as being ill, but to view it as your body actually ridding itself of toxins. So thank you so much for that perspective, because I could literally feel, that's what I told somebody, like it was something like running across my lungs. So another Soul Tribe member said that these toxins are actually parasites. And then somebody else reminded me that when I was taking the oregano mixed with black seed oil, that I was actually eliminating parasites. And so when you eliminate parasites, they're going to fight back. And you can get rid of parasites, but you still have to deal with the eggs. And when the eggs hatch, you have to deal with that. So you had possible parasites that were in my body, possible toxins from whatever they were spraying in the chemtrails that was going on, not only in Florida, but all over America, because we've heard of sicknesses breaking out all over this state. And then when I talk to Soul Tribe members who have family outside of Florida, their family members and friends and coworkers were also getting sick all over the country. So they're spraying something in the chemtrails, possibly whatever they were doing with this weather modification to make us think that this was a natural storm that people were experiencing, a natural ice storm. Must have been some type of chemicals being released by the people that were in power that we're fighting against. And in addition to that, my medical practitioner, which I haven't been to a doctor in years, but I was feeling so bad that I actually went. I was like, I can't control this cough. It was like in my sleep, I was coughing violently. So I knew there was something foreign in my body. It was so violent that I started vomiting. Um, she said that in Florida, they are planting trees that are releasing pollen that people cannot tolerate. So this is alarming to me, because we already had heard, thank you, family, that what they're doing now is they're planting a whole lot of male trees. And these male trees that they're planting, when they shoot off the pollen or the sperm of the tree, there's no female trees to catch it. So it's just going into all of that is going into our bodies. So all of these toxins are entering our bodies. And because it's foreign to us, it's causing us to become ill or to present as ill and to have fevers, have coughing um, episodes. People are vomiting. People have had diarrhea. I have several family members that all at once, I'm telling you, you'll be talking to all at once. You just come down with a violent coughing epidemic or a fever. So, it almost feels like an attack. So, this is not natural. Even the nurse practitioners and the doctors, they were like, their children are getting sick. And what's interesting is that a lot of these new versions of the virus are herbal resistant. And some of the medications that were treating other viruses and flus and the CV, this new strand is also resistant. So I would not let them swab me or nose swab me, because the conspiracy is that when they were swabbing people the last time we had an epidemic, they said that a lot of the swabs actually had, that was the conspiracy, had the flu on the tip of the swab. So I wouldn't let them swab me. I was just wondering, like, what is going on? And I did my research and I realized, I don't know that this is what I was dealing with, but I know there's a new strand called H3N2. So if you're my age, you remember H1N1 in the 90s, and they're saying this H3N2 strand of the virus is the most violent strand that we've ever had to deal with since the 1990s. So it seems like there is an attack on the human population. And our bodies, luckily, thankfully, are fighting it off as much as we can. And this is one of the reasons why they're trying to suppress the sun, because the sun would heat up the virus and fight against the virus as well. Speaking of viruses, you have more than that virus. You have people walking around that are viruses. You have 80% of the population that did not originate from the lands that are, according to scientific researchers, NPCs, non player characters, meaning that many of the people that are walking around planet Earth are not even organic. So, whatever they are made from, whatever DNA they are made from, all of this is going into the air and into the atmosphere, along with whatever these people in power are creating. So, that's going to lead me into the discussion for the day. The discussion for the day is that the beings in power, the so called elite, know that the lands all over the world, but specifically since I'm in North America, we're going to talk about North America. The lands in North America must be returned back to the indigenous peoples here in North America, which are also called the Mound Builders. Having said that, one of our Soul Tribe members sent me a Supreme Court case that actually said that the United States does not own the land of the ancient mound builders here of North America. And I added to that, therefore the land must be returned. And this is why many people, including Empress Verde IC, L. Turner Bay, took the United States Incorporated to court. A lot of people are taking and have taken the United States Corporation to court. Absolutely, that part, Sister Janine, that part right there. The land doesn't belong to them, and they know it, and they know their time is up, and they're trying to fight. They will even destroy people that look like them. I'm talking about the people that we see running the things, running the planet, in order to get to the original mound builders, because everything started in North America. This is the cradle of civilization, according to ancient texts. This is where Egypt is. This is where Ethiopia is. This is where Morocco started. This is where the cradle of civilization, everything started right here in North America, because we've heard of it. We've heard of Pangea, and we heard about how everything split apart. Many of us call that Turtle Island. And we heard about how the original people sprung from the soil. We know that the same genetic code that's in the soil is the genetic code that's in the colon of the original autochthonous people here in North America. And we've spread abroad, and we've created many, many different groups or types of people, or they say many people came from us. Well, it's not necessarily that we birthed many different people, it's that our genes, our genetics were spliced and mixed with other genetics in different labs to create other beings. And then you have other beings that were created in labs that have a hard time surviving right now unless they get that one drop of the autogenous people's blood. That's why you had a lot of people in Hollywood adopting African children, or so-called Black children, or children classified as Black that came from North America, because they wanted that one drop rule. They wanted to mix their seed with it. They wanted the organs. That's why a lot of the organs from Henrietta Lacks, she wasn't the only person. Look up Henrietta Lacks. Were taking not only her organs, but her DNA, her cells, so that other beings that were created in labs can continue to live. That's why they have Cabbage Patch kids. Excuse me, Cabbage Patch children. Okay. I have a video where they're talking about Cabbage Patch children, as well as what they call them, NPCs, non-player characters. That video, though, that was created by scientists and researchers, European researchers, can really be mind-opening, and it can be offensive, because they're literally saying that most of the people walking here on this planet that are not autogenous to the lands are non-player characters. And I thought, wow, that's kind of harsh, because they're even saying a lot of people walking around are soulless. meaning that's why people can go around raping and pillaging and drinking blood and taking organs and stealing lands and unaliving whole families and whole groups of people because they don't emote. They don't have emotions per se. And if you're not human, you won't emote. So if you're not human, what are you? You were created in a lab? Are you from different beings on different other planes outside of the Earth's terrain? I don't know. But what I do know is that everything in North America is about to be returned. And it has to be returned very soon, very quickly. This is why they're trying to distract us with all the chemtrails, all the storms, all the different things that are going around. I'm just now really paying attention to what was going on in the news where people are saying Donald Trump's a racist. He is depicting Michelle Obama and her husband as monkeys. So I didn't even look into it because I said, mainstream media is going to try to keep us distracted. And then somebody else showed a video where it wasn't Donald Trump that said that, but he retweeted it. And I'm thinking, you don't know what these people are saying. They're speaking in codes and they could be speaking to each other. And it probably doesn't have anything to do with any of us. We need to mind our own business. And what our own business is liberation. Liberation for the planet, liberation for so-called humanity, liberation for the animals, liberation just for the universe, the multiverse. These people that are in power are talking to each other. There's a war that's going on. But let's bring our attention to what's going on in North America just for a minute, because if you look at what's going on here, since I live here, it's most likely the same thing going on in other places. I've done a little research about what's going on in other places, and I'm learning that places like Costa Rica, that's considered a blue zone where people were literally living to be over 100 years old, they're being colonized by Chinese. Okay, not Caucasians, but Asians nonetheless. They're being colonized. And who's controlling them? The Chinese. I don't know. But these places, blue zone places, islands where people were living to be over 100 years old. Jamaica colonized by Chinese. The Caribbean, not only colonized by Chinese and Europeans, but also colonized by East Indians that were allowed to come in and take over the lands. So everybody is now waking up to the fact that their ancestors were the rightful stewards of the land. Now, I would say rightful owners, but that makes people upset. The land doesn't belong to anybody. The people that usually say the land doesn't belong to anybody are the ones that come into other people's land and try to take over and don't mind displacing original peoples as long as they get what's in their best interest or what they think is best for them. Okay. Those are the ones that say, well, you don't own the land. Now, while I agree that people sprung from the land, so that would mean the land owns you, when people say they own the land, what they're saying is their ancestors sprung from the soil for many generations and therefore built up those lands and left inheritances for their posterity. So in order not to upset people that don't like to say that the autogenous original people own the lands here in North America, I will say the autogenous people are the stewards of the land here in North America. Now, that brings me to this court case that I would like to show you. This court case that somebody showed me here, and I won't be long because I'm still trying to get all my energy back. I'm getting all my energy back. This was a court case from the 1800s, but there was a court case that was also brought up by the same family, same bloodline in the 1990s by way of Empress Verdiacci, Verdiaceel, Gosten, Gosten, Turner, or Tunica. Tunica is the indigenous name, Bay. Empress Verdiacci Verdiasi L. Turner or Tunica Bay brought up a court case against the United States Incorporated in the 1990s, and she won her claim in the amount of $85 quadrillion that's supposed to actually be paid off to the original mound builders known as the Ashita or Washita peoples. But let me just bring your attention to this one, this court case. The United States versus the heirs of Henry Turner Tunica, case 32, United States Appellate Court. In 1850, it was an appeal to an earlier case won by the heirs of Henry Tunica called the Heirs of Turner Tunica versus the United States, case 191. In 1848, in other words, on June the 6th, 1848, a Supreme Court decision, let me see if y'all can see this because I'm on the back screen. Oh, I'm glad you ordered for Holistic. Oh, that's so good, Brother Tony, excuse me. In other words, on June 6, 1848, a Supreme Court decision read by Theo H. McCaleb, who was a judge, declared that the United States does not own the land of the ancient mound builders of North America, much more than 1 million square miles of land. Moors or Moors are the title holders. For all the people that have said, I don't know what I'm talking about, nobody owns the title of this land, it sounds like malarkey. Maybe we should do some digging for ourselves. The titles are El, Bay, Day, Al, and Ali, translated as the five civilized tribes. Interesting that they call us civilized. So-called Indian tribes, Choctaw, Washita, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Creek, Muskogee, Seminole, Yamasee. Also, the court declared the lawful landowners are the heirs of Henry Turner, Washita Moors, Mississippi Band of Choctaw Nation. I want to pause here because we know that the autogenous people here are the original mound builders, okay? We know that the 1828 Webster's definition of American is the copper-colored races found here by Christopher Columbus or found by Europeans, but now applied to Europeans. Now applied to does not mean that they're Americans, okay? Americans are the copper-colored races discovered by Europeans. But having said that, there are many people that don't look like me that still have blood of these 5 civilized tribes. Remember, I said they're one drop rule. Now, it's funny how they used to say if you had one drop of black, you couldn't be in the TV, you couldn't be in the movies, you had one drop of black, they were going to discriminate against you. But it was actually the opposite that was important to the people in power. It wasn't that they didn't want one drop, it was that they did want one drop. Because that one drop of blood means now you can procreate, means now you can have some claims to the land. Now, some of it was done nefariously, and then some of it was done through marriage, making love. This is why beings in power created laws that said you can't get married to autogenous original people misnomered as Black. Okay, so I just wanted to say that our classification we were indigenous autogenous, we still are, and we are the Indians, the original mound builders, and then they changed our classification. So you don't want to just look at the records that they give you, when you look up DNA and all that, because you got to look at who owns the DNA companies. But you also have to look at what the Census Bureau says. Why do you think they were taking records, taking note? They want to know exactly who you are. They know who we are. And as Chief Rod Hayes said, the same way they were collecting data to find out who we are, what land we own, What's the bloodline? Who's the Messiah? Where's the Messiah coming through? What bloodline? What type of purpose you all have? They're also going to use that information to return lands back to you. Okay, so the people in power did all they could to stop the elite, to stop us from intermarrying, to stop us from race mixing. But the Census Bureau, getting back to the Census Bureau, that is the authority that reclassified mound builders. They reclassified us from being considered the copper colored races, Aboriginal. Now, some people say ab means against, but the etymology of ab actually means origin or from. AB means from. Or you can talk about AB bloodline, but aboriginal means from the land, from the soil. We were misclassified. We were classified first as indigenous or Indian or anything copper colored, mound builders, whatever, Washita. But then they changed it to colored, Negro, Black, African American, and all that malarkey, in order to disinherit us from our land and to make us forget who we are and to make us feel like we were less than, because Black means literally dead. Okay. Or that and in the law, it means you have no standing in law. No, you don't matter, in other words. So they had us calling ourselves Black. So let's get back to this. Judge Theo McCaleb said he declared that the United States does not own the land of the ancient mound builders of North America, much more than 1 million square miles of land. Moors are the true title holders. The title holders are El, Bay, Day, Al, and Ali, translated to the 5 civilized tribes. Congress has codified international obligations of the United States, international obligations of the United States, specifically in the United States Code, and it'll tell you which code. Furthermore, Congress denounced acts of national origin discrimination through the adoption of the following resolutions, and it tells you which ones. The Title VII of Civil Rights Act of 1914 to work with state governors that affirm and protect treaty rights. Well, I don't know why they called it civil rights, because we're talking about, autonomous rights. But anyway, this is their language. According to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, they were to work with state governments. Why? Because each state is a nation. Each state is a country, according to how we did things, okay? According to the Republic and according to how Turtle Island was. That affirm and protect treaty rights in order to develop multilateral documents and initiatives to combat violation of treaty rights throughout the United States. 1, to be vigorous and flexible, reflecting both the unwavering commitment of the United States to Moorish treaty rights and the desire of the United States for the most effective and principled response in light of the range of violations of Moorish treaty rights by a variety of persecuting regimens and the status of the relations of the United States with the Moorish Empire. Also, to work with state governments that affirm and protect Moorish treaty rights in order to develop multilateral documents and initiatives to combat violations of Moorish treaty rights, because the people in power violated the treaties. They never upheld any of the treaties. Furthermore, we don't even know if the treaties were actually created by indigenous, autonomous people here. But that's an aside. Standing for liberty and standing with the persecuted and discriminated to use and implement appropriate tools in the United States foreign policy apparatus, including diplomatic, political, commercial, charitable, educational, and cultural channels to promote respect for Moorish treaty rights by all government and peoples. That's why we say everybody's going to have to return to their own lands, and anybody, though, that decides to remain, they must respect our liberties. They must respect our tenets. of our republic and of our tribal ways. They must respect love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The Vienna Convention of the Law of Treaties at Vienna, for people who said this wasn't international. Let me see where's Vienna? Let me look it up. What was the Vienna Convention? Somebody tell me where that is. Vienna Convention Law of Treaties was drafted by the International Law Commission. Remember, I said Empress Verdi Asti L. Turner Bay took these people to international courts. People were like, what international courts? That doesn't even make any sense. Well, she's from the same bloodline as this gentleman. Okay, but let's pause and go back to reading this. Vienna Convention of the Law of Treaties dawned at Vienna on the 23rd of May, 1969. The states parties to the present convention, considering the fundamental roles of treaties in the history of international relations, recognizing the ever-increasing importance of treaties. They recognize that treaties are important. They're important to uphold. If you say, you're going to be on my land, whoever is on anybody's land, we're going to have an agreement of how things should be run, then people are supposed to abide by those agreements. Well, this particular convention says, considering the fundamental role of treaties in the history of international relations, recognizing the ever-increasing importance of treaties as a source of international law and as a means of developing peaceful cooperation amongst nations, whatever their constitutional and societal systems, noting that the principles of free consent and good faith and pacta sunt servanda with Indian tribe rules are universally recognized, affirming that disputes concerning treaties, like other international disputes, should be settled by peaceful means and in conformity with the principles of justice and international law. This is why Kim Jong-un of North Korea didn't want to do business with United States Incorporated. This is why Vladimir Putin of Russia did not want to do business with the United States Incorporated, because they were saying, listen, the so-called elite that was running the government in the United States of America, they're not the original people. They're not the original mound builders. They're not the ones that own the titles of the land in North America. Therefore, we won't do business with you. And that's why they always told us to be afraid of Russia. That's why they had the Cold Wars, and they had us as children. I was born in the 60s. They had us as children running under desks and hiding. And when they would do these sirens in the middle of the day, they had you running in the cloak room or the coat room, hiding out, or going in the basement of the schools saying the Russians are going to get us. That's why whenever airplanes flew above head, when you were like in the 70s, growing up, maybe 5, 6 years old or older, you would be afraid anytime you saw an airplane, because you thought the Russians were coming to get you, because they knew that the Russians knew that the elite people in power were holding us hostage on our own land. And the Russians knew that at some point we would wake up and say, give us our stuff back. And that's what's happening right now today. It started in the 1800s when people were fighting for their lands. That's what we're reading from. Recalling the determination of the peoples of the United Nations to establish conditions under which justice and respect for the obligations arising from treaties can be maintained, having in mind the principles of international law embodied in the Charter of the United Nations, such as the principles of the equal rights and self-determination of all peoples, of the sovereign equality and independence of all states, of non-interference in the domestic affairs of the states, of the prohibition of the threat or use of force, and of the universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms. That's why I said I don't want to hear about civil rights. I want to know what's the human rights. I want to know what's autogenous rights. I want to know what are indigenous rights. And I don't even know if rights is the word that I'm looking for. You should even have to be fighting over what's rightfully yours, because most people are comfortable in their lands from which their ancestors come. Your blood, you have blood rights to the land, right? Your blood and your genetic code is the same that's in the genetics of the soil from which you come. Now, a lot of people are going to be displaced because they cannot trace their homeland. I don't know what you do in that situation. They can't trace their homeland. This is what some people are waking up to, because some of them were created in labs. How do you make up for that? I don't know. We'll have to, somebody gonna have to problem solve that one. But what I do know is that here in North America, people are waking up and saying, look, you've allowed the government, United States Incorporated, everybody and their slaves, their prisoners, their mama, their daddy, their farmers, everybody to come to our lands and take the resources for themselves and displace the original peoples. In the meantime, you made contracts. Let me get out of here so you can see me. You had contracts with foreigners who allowed drugs to be flooded into the neighborhoods of the autogenous original people so they can be self-medicated on drugs, confused, and not only flood their communities with drugs, but you flood it with guns. So now they're unaliving each other. Many of them are on drugs, and they're displaced. They're thinking they're slaves from Africa. They're confused, while you came over here to America and called yourself an American. That's called identity theft. It's not only land theft, resource theft, whatever theft you want to call it, is also identity theft, which is why President Trump is attacking naturalization, birthright citizenship, immigration, all that, because it was all created in order to displace the autogenous peoples here. It's time up for that. They say that clones cannot emote, but I don't know. Everything's got to be returned. You remember as the 60s babies, how they had us afraid of the Russians? And I don't know if you remember this, excuse me, I'm backtracking, but they also used to have fallout shelters where people were literally building a place, if they own the land or own their homes, right outside their home, in order to, and this was even people classified as Black. Everybody was doing this. It was like a underground place, but you build it right beside your home, and you would store food there so that when the Russians would come to drop the bombs on you, you can all run down there and find shelter and safety for you and your children. And the shelter, it would be kind of like underground. It was like a basement, but it was underneath the house, built from the side of your house. I remember seeing fallout shelters growing up. And there would even be sirens that they would do in the cities. Kind of like, some of you don't remember this because they don't do this much anymore. But when they would have tornado drills and tornado sirens, they would have a Russia siren that they would sound. And they would do this in order so you can practice to run and hide in your fallout shelter or in your basement, or if you were in a school, under the desk or in the cloakroom, because the Russians were coming to get you. Were the Russians really coming to get you, or were the Russians trying to come liberate you? Because the Russians knew from their former treaties with the autogenous indigenous peoples here that the United States Incorporated was not being run by the original people. So President Trump is only doing the job that he's supposed to do, and I'm grateful for it, of getting rid of the so-called elite so that the original people can, again, control their own governments. Now, there'll be somebody that'll hear this video later on that'll say, oh, black people can't even run their lives. How they going to control the land? We'll figure it out. Thank you. That's what they said when the South African farmers kicked out the Caucasian farmers. A lot of people were angry. But what people don't know is when you make agreements to allow people to come into somebody else's land, it's usually on a lease. And that lease is usually 99 years at the most. And then after 99 years, those people have to go. Now, I don't agree with like unaliving people or hurting people, especially people that don't have anything to do with what's happening. My point is when your time is up, your time is up. You got to go, period. Point blank, period, as the young people say. So a lot has happened to displace the people here that are classified as Black, African American, colored, Negro, whatever. The racism, the nigga calling, the big booty bitches calling, the entertainment industry making us look like fools, the redlining, the real estate housing market, all them discriminating against us to get us off our lands. The fact that country clubs were our sacred grounds should raise up your antenna. Look at the country clubs. Nice, beautiful, aren't they? Lush. Green, pristine, nice water trinkets just springing from the grounds. Oh, just so peaceful and calm. And even the air around the country clubs is just pristine and crisp, isn't it? So nice. Who's not allowed to come unless you pay a high price? But the original autogenous people. Do you know why? Do you know how? And people that go to country clubs don't even know this. Look at where they play golf. The holes. What are the grounds? Let's look at a country club. Let me show you what a country club look at. So beautiful. I showed a video of stating what I'm about to say, but I haven't been able to find it. I haven't been 100% myself, okay? But I want to show you how, oh, they're just so beautiful. Just so lovely, family. What they look like. That part, the country clubs. Yeah. Let's talk about the country clubs. Let's talk about them. Country clubs with golf courses. Let's see. Because some of us may not have the money to visit. No matter what you look like, no matter if you classify it as Black or if you classify it as white, you might not ever be able to step on one of these beautiful pieces of land because you don't have enough money to go. But you see that there? You see all those mounds there? You see all that lush land right there? You see all those beautiful trees right around there where the people with the money, the elite peoples are allowed to go? You see that? See all those rivers all over there? You see the nice fine homes over there? You see that? Nobody's there. How peaceful, calm, and serene that right there looks. You see country clubs and all the lands there, that's sacred grounds. Those be sacred grounds right there. Them there is sacred grounds right there, you see. Them there is sacred burial grounds. Them there grounds right there, that's where we used to have tribal meetups. Them there grounds right there, that's where we used to go and make very important decisions for our different tribal members. But right now, only the people with long money, they can go right there to them their country clubs. But it all must be returned. It all must be returned. And I told the Soul Tribe this, that a lot of people are going to feel like, wait a minute, I bought land, and I get it. I bought land here. I bought a house here. I'm mining here. I got a farm over here. I didn't know it belonged to the original autogenous people. I didn't know. I said, you'll be compensated. It's got to be returned, but you'll be compensated. And I also said that, what's her name? Judge Anna Von Reitz mentioned the same thing. A lot of land that's been purchased here doesn't belong to people that purchased it. They don't hold the allodial title. They don't have the original title. They don't have the claim. United States government doesn't have a right to give land to anybody. So the banks don't have a right. The United States government, none of them have a right. But you'll be compensated. You got to turn it back over to the rightful owners. But right is right, and wrong is wrong. Country clubs got to be returned back to the original people. What else? Cemeteries. Lots of sacred grounds. Homes. The lands that are being mined, those mines, gold mines, copper mines, silver mines, I don't give a freaking care. It must be returned expeditiously. We declare it, we speak it, we command it to be so, and it's just going to have to happen. And it is happening. Not only does it have to happen, it is happening. Thank you, Sister Vanessa, one of our Soul Tribe members that brought me this. Posted on Fox News. There are people that are saying, look, I'm taking my land back because I know that my ancestors own this property, whether it's in Los Angeles or New Orleans. What you think Hurricane Katrina was about? Displacing the people there. They're the original Washita people. That Louisiana is the lands that Empress Bertiosity L. Turner Bay came from. And Turner being the bloodline of the man that brought the case before the United States, that court case I just read in the 1860s. Hurricane Katrina was sent to Louisiana in order to displace the autogenous people, the Washita people classified as Black. They displaced them and sent them all over. I was living in Louisville, Kentucky at the time. They sent some of them to Louisville. Most of them went to Texas so they could steal the land. Now, when it's happening to other people, it don't matter. I mean, it matters some. Oh, it's egregious. It's a shame. But imagine what it felt like to those people. Imagine what it feels like to these people right here, the Tongva tribe. Here's a Tongva tribe statement sent to Fox News. As the first people of the greater Los Angeles basin, we do understand that our home is situated on our ancestral land. Elias has not contacted our tribe directly regarding her property. It doesn't matter if you bought property somewhere else and you thought it was rightfully yours, you got to return it, especially when those people alert you to the fact that you own their property. Now, we'll dive into that later. What happened with that? But we know who the first people are, okay? People are speaking up. People are waking up. And we're not putting up with this anymore. And nobody is particularly angry at, any one unique person. What we're saying is what has been allowed to happen on our lands with our people It's over. It's over. Time is up. Now, they know their time is up. What I mean by they, I mean the elite, the people that were in control, the people that were running the United States Incorporated. And so they'll keep trying to get us distracted with news, stuff that's mainstream media, make us sick, unalive us, whatever they can do to lay their claims to this land, to keep their paws in the soil. But the happy version of this is that with the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, NASARA, and the global version of that, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, in order to claim your wealth of your nation, you'll have to return back there to reclaim your wealth. And when you say, for example, that, I don't know, Albania, Syria, or heck, whatever nation, Serbia, now has massive wealth, and if you're from there, you can return home, people will most likely go home. Excuse me. So that's the good version. That's the happy version. You able to go, people will be able to go back home and reclaim their lands. But there's an old joke that say, you don't have to go home. Get your hat, get your coat, and get your belongings. You don't have to go home. I'll let you finish the rest. But you got to get up out of here. That's the nice version. And who am I speaking to? Any colonizer, any what do you call it? Parasite, any person or persons that are here raping the land, raping the women, raping the children, sucking up the resources, and or cannot abide by the tenets of the original peoples. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, how would we know if our land was stolen? That's a great, great question. Well, I agree with you. I agree with you. That's a great question. So what Chief Rod Hayes taught us was that we're going to get a letter. We're all going to get a letter. Please go and watch this show that I did with him on last Sunday. We're all going to get a letter that's going to describe our ancestry, where we come from, and it's going to tell us all of our lands from our ancestry and the resources that came from our bloodline. They have been taking records of all of this for centuries. Who are they? United States Incorporated, the so-called government. They have all this. And a lot of the artifacts, as an aside, from the autogenous original people here, they're stored in the Smithsonian. You have some stored at the Vatican, but you also have some stored with Smithsonian. But the titles, all that the government has, they're going to alert you to it. What that's going to look like exactly, I don't know. We'll have to ask the chiefs on the land or do some more research for ourselves. Yeah, that is a major problem. A lot of people claiming to be us when they're not us. A lot of people saying, I'm American, I'm American, I'm American. No, you're not. It's just like, I'm American. If I go to China, first of all, I'm not getting any welfare benefits. I'm not going to be able to buy land there. I can lease the land. I can freaking go to Africa. They'll tell you can buy land there. No, you cannot. The buying of land in any other country is a lease, usually 99 years. So from my research. So if I go to China and I buy something, I can't buy the land, but let's play along. Say they allow me to buy the land. I don't care if I buy the land there. I don't care if I start a business there. I'm not going to get any government benefits. I'm not going to get Section 8. I'm not going to get free medical. I'm not going to get any of that. And my children, let's say my children are born there, and their children's children are born, and everybody comes out as American, born in China. and me or any of them say they're Chinese, do you know what they're going to say? You not Chinese. You not Chinese. You Negro. Yeah, you Negro. You black. You American. But it's interesting how you can come to America and naturalize or just get a citizenship. Being a citizenship or a citizen of the United States Incorporated does not make you American. A citizen is a slave. You are beholden to the United States Incorporated. That is not being American. So I can be born in China all day. You Chinese. You not, you know Chinese, you black, you negro, right? So how, again, I'm being comical, trying to lighten up the mood. I'm not really in a light mood. I'm not really in a play. I'm tired of it. Everywhere I look around, most people don't look like me. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm finished. I'm done. Finito. It's crazy. People speaking all type of different languages, all different cultures, all different ways of doing things. And it's not fair that people are being displaced out of their own communities, having their culture stolen, their identity stolen. It's like we're not even talking about cultural appropriations. We're talking about land theft, identity theft. What the heck? You go to a laundromat, everybody's speaking Spanish. You go to a restaurant, they speaking languages you don't know. You go here, they're speaking this language. You go there, they're doing, even white folk fed up. People classified as white. But what I'm saying is when it's all said and done, when it all falls down, when it all falls down, it's got to all fall down. When it all falls down, somebody gonna rise up. And it's not gonna be the conqueror, it's not gonna be the colonizers, it's gonna be the original autogenous peoples. So having said that, the system is collapsing. Things are being returned back, but in the meantime, they're fighting to hold on to their power. The best way, in my strong opinion, to expedite this situation, to accelerate it, is for people to pull out of their systems. I'm talking about like en masse. We're tired of it. Stop paying taxes. Yeah, just stop. I mean, even the IRS said don't pay taxes. I don't know how much, what kind of clues, what more do we need? Even they said it. They said it in 2022. They're saying it again. Stop paying taxes. I mean, if you're sick of, listen, you're sick of the school system. What happens if we all withdraw our children from the school system? If we're sick of the propagandized, what do you call it? Propaganda of our children. Take them out of schools. It's gonna come to a point where people gonna say, F your credit card, F your gas bill, F your utilities, F your this, F. We are right here, right here, right here. I'm serious. I am right here. Maybe because I'm a little. I'll blame it on the blame it on this right here. Maybe I'll blame it on that. Okay. Maybe I'll blame it on the fact that had a little temperature. You know what I'm saying? The toxins in my body kind of speaking out. You know what I'm saying? I'll blame it on my body trying to purify. I was just kind of a little sick, but I'm fed up. People are getting to the point where they're going to say, take the car. I don't give up. It's my land anyway. I'll walk it. I'm not paying your little car note, not paying your car insurance. We want to accelerate this. What will happen if we all just stop paying the the car insurance, stop paying the automobile. Like, what they gonna do? Come collect them and then just have the car lots full of them? Okay, you gonna come collect everybody's cars? Take the ish. What, you gonna turn off everybody's electricity? We thrive in the sun. It's almost springtime in this piece. We thrive in the heat. It's coming to a point where people are saying we're done. And you know what? They've gotten us to that point where not only are we just going to withdraw, but people literally cannot live. I keep hearing people's testimony saying, I hear what you're saying, Dr. Pruitt. I'm trying to stay, encouraged, but I can't pay my electricity. I can pay mine. But what I'm saying is, just because I can pay mine don't mean it's not a chore. Just the fact that I have to pay on my own land to have light. Hell, cut the stuff off. The sun is fine. Because we used to know anyway, when the sun went down, that's when everything shut down in grandma's house. Big mama didn't play anyway. Mother dear didn't play anyway. When the sun went down, so did 10515 Sandusky Avenue. Everything was closed. The kitchen, the television, everything. That's how we talk in Cleveland. Everything was closed, my G. Everything. When grandma said that the lights was out, soon as the street lights came on, everybody had to be in the house on everything. Before Big Mama came outside calling, Kia! They called me Marie. Marie! Kia and Timmy! Before she did that, on everything. When them street lights came on, you was in the house and the sun went down. Okay. Had that dinner, washed them dirty dishes, turned in for the night. Okay. So we used to that. We're used to living without lights now. You can cut off all this ish. We's gonna figure it out. What we haven't yet figured out is the water situation, because these parasites that ran the government got our water all filthy with parasites in the water. How is it that they put parasites in the water? Because they made a parasites. That's how I done figured it out. Darn tootin'. But we got filters. We also, my son works for a water company. See, I can talk like this because I raised my kids in Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia. And so I still got the dialect. My son works for a company that can teach you how to clean your water. Purify your tap water so to make it just as healthy as spring water. It'd be real good for your good for your infants and your elderly, and clean up your lungs and all that there. So we done figured some of these things out. So the only thing we ain't figured out is how to drink the water from that there lake. But we used to be able to drink it up before y'all filthied it up and contaminated it. But we calling on the ancestors today from these here lands in North America, South Central America, and all over the world to come back to clean up our waters so we can drink it again, because we sick of these goddamn parasites that cause themselves the United States government and everybody else's government that's forcing us to drink their toxins. And in about 3.5 seconds, we about to give it to the system. Tell them, cut off all this ish, and if we die, we die. If we perish, we perish. We tired of cooperating. What you gonna do if you kill and unalive all of us? I keep telling y'all, freedom ain't free. Sometimes you gotta even lay your life down on the line. Malcolm X said the cost of freedom is death. Kanye West said slavery is a choice. Some slaves said, I will not be a slave. You can take my life on my mama, on my mama, on my hood. Now, you weren't supposed to say on my mama when I was growing up. Those was words. Them their words was word. Those that was you might as well be cussing. That's because you love mama deep. Mama's the goddess. She's the archetype of God. Oh my mama, I'd rather die than continue in slavery. Or I'd rather live. But if you push me to my limits, I'm gonna push my limits. I'm gonna stop paying these here bills. I'm telling you, about 5 seconds away. 5 seconds. 5 seconds to saying, take your shit back. FRB Supreme says, if you're scared to die, you're already dead. So what they gonna do? Take everybody's cars back if we stop paying? Because what's car insurance anyway? So you gotta pay 200, 300, 400, depending on how many cars you got, dollars per month in the event you get in an accident, and they doing that for everybody. I don't care what your ethnicity, race, nationality, creed, culture, political affiliation is. You all should be tired. We all tired. So you collecting all this for what? Because first of all, I drive safely. I don't get into accidents. But let's say I did. Then what? Then it's only going to pay for partial this or that. But you done already collected tens of thousands of dollars from me, and God knows how much from all of my family and my bloodline. And you're so sick that now you want to know how many adults in my family so you can tax each one of them. F you. Take your freaking car insurance. Take your freaking car back. Take it all back. You can blame it on the rain. You can blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the whatever y'all want to blame it on. Y'all shouldn't have told me that I need to mix a little. What y'all tell me? I need to mix a little tea concoction with just a little shot of whiskey. Maybe just because you drink a little shot of whiskey, and then it burns out the toxins from your body. Just a little shot of whiskey there it heats up your body, and it burns out all the stuff that's in there, and then you wake up after the night sweats and you feel better. Well, by golly, I feel good. I feel good. And I knew that I would. Oh, I feel good. So good. So good. I found you. Hey. I ain't deleting this here live, y'all. I'm on one today. I'm on one. I'm on one. I'm on one. So we do know that when people tried to take their land back, thank you so much, family, for all the love. When people tried to take their land back, something mysteriously happened to them in the past, but that day is over. Did you know? See, I live in Florida. There is a beach called American Beach. It's on a place. American Beach is located in Amelia Island, which is about 45 minutes from Jacksonville, where I live. Amelia Island is a beautiful small island that used to be inhabited by mostly colored folk. This beach is a historic beach that was actually founded by a man classified as Black who owned an insurance company. I'm going somewhere with this. His name was Abraham Lincoln Lewis. Abraham Lincoln Lewis and his insurance company bought this beach on Amelia Island, and they named it American Beach. Interesting. American. They knew they were the Americans. And what was the name of his insurance company? It was called Afro-American Life Insurance Company. Look that up. Abraham Lincoln Lewis. When he bought it, it was during the Jim Crow era. excuse me, he bought it. He said, well, since people classified as black is not allowed to, how are you not allowed to go to a beach on your own land? Somebody help me. Since they weren't allowed to go on other beaches in their own land, Abraham Lincoln Lewis said, what I'm going to do, yeah, it's like that in Jamaica. I visited there. You see him, you're looking him up. I'm going to buy up this land so that black people can go to their own beach, can have a place to go. See, he was rich. He's one of the first millionaires in Florida. So he would bring entertainers to come and play jazz and sing. They even have a club. They had a club there. One of the buildings that they had the club where the black people would come and party. The building is now owned by a sister because the powers that be in Florida tried to take it from the black people who owned it. So anyway, beautiful time. He wanted black people to have a place to go, so they have pictures of all the parties they had, the fun they had, beautiful homes there. Still to this day, I've been there to visit many of the homes. They're gorgeous. But what happened was, as their people passed away that owned the lands, because the people started buying lands there. People classified as black. They bought houses there. They have even apartment complex there. Which one of the rooms in one of the apartments in the apartment complex they offered to me for $400 a few years ago. They said, you could come here, you can write your books, because it was that part was still owned by a family classified as black. But anyway, when the people passed away, unfortunately, the children either couldn't keep up the property taxes, or they just didn't have an interest in beachfront property, because many of their great grandchildren or whatever, their future generations, the generations that lived or that were still standing, they didn't want beachfront property. They didn't understand the value of beachfront property, so they sold it, or they needed the money. They sold it. However, there was one lady who tried to maintain as much of the land as she could, as much as the property as she could, and she tried to make it historical, get it registered as something historical. And she fought for a long time to keep it historical. They called her the Beach Lady. Let me show you if I can show you. The Beach Lady was she was the great granddaughter of Abraham Lincoln Lewis. I'll see if I can find her. If you visit Amelia Island, please go look at American Beach. It's a nice vacation. They also have American Beach Museum. I've been there a couple times. That will show you the whole history and would give you an idea of what it used to look like during Jim Crow times, and all the people they would bring there to party and the restaurants they had there. Let me look up the Beach Lady. I think that would be a good experience for your children or your grandchildren. The Beach Lady. She tried to preserve that area of Amelia Island. She was a very interesting woman. Now very interesting woman. Let me see. Look up A.L. Lewis Museum or Abraham Lincoln Lewis Museum. It will show you a lot about the museum, but I'm looking for the Beach Lady right now. Oh, here she is. I love this picture of her. Let me show you. Have you all heard of her? This is her. So this is one hand that she left uncovered, but then she has another hand with nails that were so long, had grown so long that she would cover them. And of course, she had very, very long hair. She tried to preserve her great grandfather's lands and have it registered as some type of historical lands. She tried to keep people from buying up the land. Oh man, I don't see any other pictures of her. People have a deep reverence and respect for her. Her name was Maveen Betsch, Betsch, granddaughter. Let me see, I have another slide of her, of Abraham Lincoln Lewis. Now, I've been there several times and I've interviewed the people there off the record. And they told me how amazing she was. She was born January 1935 on the 13th of January. Interesting. Oh, wow. I'm talking about her like almost a month after the anniversary of her birth. Her great grandfather, it was a great grandfather, Abraham Lincoln Lewis, was Florida's first black millionaire. And it talks about how segregation shaped his life. He was determined to help his community thrive in spite of it. In 1901, he founded the Afro American Life Insurance Company to serve Black customers locked out of many mainstream banks. Between 35 and 40, the company purchased more than 200 acres of beachfront property on Amelia Island. That's a barrier island near Jacksonville. Originally a retreat for company employees and investors, American Beach was soon made available to other Black beach lovers looking to buy property. It became a thriving destination after World War II for vacationers, etc., etc. It became a place like Sag Harbor on Long Island, Oaks Bluff on Martha's Vineyard. American Beach was similar to that. It was a haven in the Jim Crow area. The beach lady, she was an activist. She was determined that her great grandfather's legacy be preserved. She grew up in Jacksonville, and as a teenager, she embarked on a career as an opera singer, studying at Oberlin Conservatory of Music and performing in Europe. She returned to Florida in the 1960s. She fell in love with the area's natural beauty, especially its birds and insects. So she decided to give up her singing career, and she connected herself to the environmental movement there. She donated her substantial inheritance to support environmental causes worldwide. Before that, before long, she focused her energy closer to home. She gave historical tours of American Beach. She beautified the struggling town by planting trees. She sold her family's home to donate the money to environmental charities and spent time living in friends' homes and in a trailer. She slept on the beach, and people said she would sleep on the beach. She felt like that was her home. She connected to the lands there. She was 6 feet tall. She often dressed in bright colors, draped in jewelry made from shells and beach stones, always ready to share her passion. She was an advocate for American Beach, and she campaigned against the development of Nana Dune. They developed a dune there, part of the tallest dune system of Florida's Atlantic coast. The powers that be came and developed a dune. And when you go to the dune there, people that don't look like me will say, "Don't get on that dune." And I'm sitting up here like, I'm just admiring the beauty. I don't want to have to call the police. You know, these people that they call Karens love to call the police on you, on your land. I heard somebody say, where is the outrage? Where's the Caucasian lady outrage with the Epstein's files being released? Why ain't they all out in the outrage about all these children that had been molested? I'm sure they'll get to it though. That's an aside. It is now owned by the National Park Service. Her efforts to preserve and share town's history through walking tours and a small museum in her trailer also bore fruit. So she advocated to keep the ground sacred. She advocated not to have a dune there. She advocated to preserve the lands. And when you're there on the lands, they will tell you, the people will tell you the story, and they will tell you that she fought against the powers that be vehemently. And they would come and try to pressure people to sell out the land, of course, and give it to their buddies. And they tried to steal the area where, again, I said that, where they used to have parties and entertainers to come in there. But a sister that was a millionaire bought it up. Um, and when you talk to the elder people on Amelia Island that still live at American Beach, they will tell you she took ill mysteriously and passed away. Now, I don't know if there's any legitimacy to that claim, but I'm just saying a lot of times you have to fight against systems, powers, and governments that are not controlled by us in order to preserve your own land, right? But the tide is changing. The times are changing. And the best way we can, again, excel and what you call it, accelerate all this is to pull away from their systems, pull away. Like if we take away our energy, what, they won't know how to maintain themselves. I mean, the government, these systems, these corporate entities. That's why the corporations are collapsing. People can't even afford to support them. But if we do it, when we continue to do it, they're going to collapse even faster. She took ill and passed away, maybe before her time. According to the people that knew her, it was definitely before her time. Those are the type of things that used to happen. This is her sister, Janetta B. Cole, former president of Spelman University. I took this picture in 2023 when I went to American Beach. One of the times I went, I said, you're right, let's stop volunteering to participate in their system. But I went to American Beach and I told the people there, I'm back, I'm back. And I went to the museum to visit, the American Beach Museum. And I said, yes, I know that Maveen tried to preserve the area. I said, her sister, Janetta B. Cole, has a PhD. She was the president of Spelman. I said, in the 1990s, I was in graduate school working on a master's degree at Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. I was there, yes, for anybody that know, when Randy Moss graduated from Marshall University. I was going to school there. He was probably 19. I was about 26, working on my master's degree. Was I 26? I was in my 20s. I know how old he was because I ran across him in the student center. And, back then, athletes, they could just pick girls that they like, right? And I always look younger than my age. And they didn't necessarily walk up to girls. They would send people, like celebrities who send people. So he had sent some guys up to come to me to say, hey, Randy Moss is over there. He likes you. Everybody knew who he was. He's an upcoming star. Even back then in college at Marshall University, he was a star, right? But he had a thing for Caucasian girls. I was like, I already knew, first of all, he was too young. Secondly, I was focused. Thirdly, I'm like, you like Caucasian girls. You don't really want to be with me. You might want to mess with me. Then I was thinking, I was like, how old is he? He was 19. I was like, tell him I'm not interested. They were like, what? You turned down Randy Moss? He going to be a star one day. I was like, he didn't know me from Who Shot John. Who cares? Ain't no telling how many women he slept with. But anyway, he was 19 at the time. He did eventually graduate and did extremely well. You had Melvin Cunningham. Melvin, if you're watching, I remember Melvin Cunningham was there at the time. Melvin Cunningham was a good friend of mine. He went on, I don't know if he played professionally. He played for Marshall University. Marshall University has a very good football team. But he became a very, very popular coach. But anyway, back to the story. I was at Marshall University and I was working on my master's degree. I was in an African American student's office working there as a graduate assistant, where I was following undergrad students that were freshmen and sophomore, It was a program I created to help retain them. So I was, I would research how many African American students were on campus, freshman and sophomore. I got all their names as a graduate assistant, graduate student. And I actually would call them in my office. I had my own office in the African American student office. Call in my office, ask them about their grades. If they were struggling in any grades, I'll help them with tutoring, either tutor them myself or offer them tutoring programs, help them with academic support. And then I also help them to apply for graduate school, law school, medical school, wherever they wanted to go from there, help them get scholarships, etc. But while I was there, I was like, what's my next step? I'm working, almost finished with my master's degree in counseling. And I said, there was a guy there I was talking to. He was an undergrad student. Can't think of his name, but he and I are friends on Facebook now. But he said, "You know what, Kia, you're a president material. Why don't you think about becoming a president of a university?" I said, "But I got a counseling degree. I might be a dean." He said, "Well, president, dean, kind of the same thing." So I had been reading all these magazines back in the day. This was in the 90s, where Black Enterprise, all these magazines, Essence, and all that. All these magazines were out, and as a person that wanted to go into higher education or continue in higher education as a possible president, I started following Janetta B. Cole, and I started reading up on her. She used to print articles and all that. She was the president of Spelman. I never went to Spelman. My mother wanted me to go to Spelman. So I studied her. I read about her. I followed her work and how much money she brought to Spelman. And this is the woman right here you see in the picture with me that inspired me just through her legacy to go on to get a PhD in higher education. So when I was on American Beach at American Beach on Amelia Island, I told the people at the American Beach Museum that Janetta B. Cole, her great grandfather, founded this beach, and I just love her story. I think she's amazing. They said, "Janetta B. Cole, you know about her? Oh, she's right down the street. Let me call her." They called her on the phone. Thank you so much for the gift. Thank you for the Cash App blessing. And she said, "Tell Kia to stay right there. I'm coming right away." This is a busy woman who happened to come back after she retired from Spelman to keep up the legacy of her father, maintain the beach, maintain, parts of the beach, maintain the museum, have all these high class society meetings and volunteer meetings and all that took time out to come meet with me and take a picture. So this is us right here. I was ecstatic. She is the sister. Oh, your daughter was, Asha says, my daughter was accepted to attend Spelman. So I was ecstatic. This is the sister of the beach lady that preserved the beach as much as she could and maintain the legacy of the beach. So I was so happy when that happened, and I wrote about it. That was October the 6th that I actually captured that. I'm almost done, funny. I'm funny. See, now I'm getting woozy. Family. I'm almost done, family. Here it is. On the side, I said Dr. Janetta B. Cole, former president of Spelman College, and Dr. Kia Pruitt at A.L. Lewis Museum. Here's what Dr. Pruitt has been up to. This is the woman who inspired me to get my PhD in higher education. And then I link a video that says what I've been up to, because when this happened on October the 6th, 2023, I took a vacation 45 minutes away from Jacksonville, some time there, because that was one of the times that YouTube had censored my videos and had taken down my channel. So yes, I just brought her up and her family because a lot of people are trying their best to maintain their lands and to bring back the wealth to their posterity. But each of us will be able to reclaim our posterity, or our wealth, and give it back. Because according to Chief Rod Hayes, the people in power already has documentation of who we are and what possession or which possessions our family members own. Crystal Gold says we have to stop putting money in the hands of these devils that hate us and want to keep us down. That's right. Hello, Sherman. It's good to see you. A video by Old World Florida on golf courses. Is that's what you're? I don't know what you're saying about it. Inez says, "Hi, Sister Inez. Her birthday, Sister Janetta B. Cole's birthday, or Dr. Janetta B. Cole's birthday, January 13, 1935. Her Mayan-born information kin 100 yellow solar sun, sun. Her higher self and guide is a yellow warrior. She truly walked and talked who came in this time." Wow. Thank you so much, Sister. Crystal says, "Don't waste our time or money on their indoctrination." Led Zeppelin is telling the baddies, "Your time is going to come. Bye bye, baby. Bye bye." Right, right. Lay says the Super Bowl is about territory, Patriot or Marines, and Seahawks, the Coast Guard, and why that must take place for the Admiralty Court. Thank you. Can you show, does somebody have that picture that's circulating of the Super Bowl symbol resembling the EBS or the emergency broadcast system? Because it's interesting, it is interesting how they use the same colors of the EBS. All right, I'm feeling a little woozy. This, whatever kind of virus or whatever I had, would cause just a little weird feeling in my head. Thank you. Sister Janine said I look so pretty in that picture. Thank you. Peaceful Journey says the local government is currently trying to take the land from the Geechee people. Wow, on Sapelo Island in Georgia. Yeah, I agree. They need us to survive. That's what parasites do. They find a host and they eat off of them. They feed off of them. They called Indians black because it was illegal to enslave Indians. Oh, not because blacks are indigenous. Thank you, Lay. But according to, I appreciate that. Black's Law Dictionary, black means you have no status in law, no lawful standing. Thank you for that addition. Do not or support the Super Bowl, somebody said. Thank you, Vase. I'm sorry, Vases. I don't know how to say your name. Thank you. Okay, Dana told me to take a nap. And then Sister Janine says, "Go rest. I love you too. I will take care of myself." Thank you, family. So basically, I just wanted to show you all that lawsuit that was in the 1800s that said that the United States does not own the land here of the mound builders. You see all those mounds that are all over the Americas, not just North America. Those were created by the original people. This is why the Colombian president said in November 2025, that what he said, the black people are the original, that he said black people are the only real original peoples of the Americas. That's what he said, because it's not just about North America, it's all of the Americas. They're all part of Turtle Island. I didn't know that. White means no access to gold in Black Law's dictionary. What? Thank you, Eric. Right. It's not about color of skin. Thank you so much, Sister Dana. Hi, Malcolm. So we all know that the lands have to be returned. In the meantime, we should be getting our houses in order, bringing our family back in order, establishing our family banks, accumulating whatever wealth you desire to, whether it's silver, gold, any precious metals, lands, foreign currencies, all that. and rejecting their system, pull away from their system. It's just like a relationship. If you stay involved in a relationship, people would, if they know they have access to you, they will continue to, you know, they'll continue to be with you. They will continue to enjoy the fruits of being around you, enjoy your energy. The moment you withdraw your energy, the moment you get quiet, that's when things start to get a little uncomfortable. It's like when the woman of the house does the silent treatment. Daddy, hubby, gonna be like, oh Lord, she mad. Oh man, he gonna be doing everything he can to try to get her attention, try to get her back on board. Oh God. The kids are walking on edge, they tiptoeing. If you're in a relationship and somebody's mistreating you or they're just taking advantage of you, and you start to pull back your energy and you're silent for some time, not just for a minute, for some time, they start reassessing their behavior, wonder, what did I do wrong? What could I have done? And when you really pull back your energy and you really draw back all of your resources, then they just left out there in la la land trying to figure out their life. It's the same in a sense. It's kind of like boycotting. They say in the 1960s when they boycotted the buses and all the people classified as black stopped riding the buses, then the bus company started saying, okay, we got to stop being racist. We got to stop treating people a certain way because we need their dollars. It's all falling down. Most of the people that are here that are not indigenous, according to what we're hearing, according to Dolores Cannon, are NPCs, non-player characters, non-player actors. Dolores Cannon is somebody they love to study, right? She's the one that did all this helping people to, I think she would do some type of regression and what do you call it when they kind of put you under and then you could look at your past life regression. She did studies. She might be a pseudoscientist, but you have other scientists that say most of the people that are walking around that are not, that even here in North, especially in North America, they're not original. They need it. They'll tell you that black people are a minority. That's not true. We're not a minority in our own lands. They created people. They want me to come out and say it. They created people. They created the Cabbage Patch Kids. Remember the Cabbage Patch craze? People don't remember the Cabbage Patch dolls. When they came out, they were letting us know. When they created the Cabbage Patch dolls and they put them on the market and they flooded the market, people were literally unaliving each other over these dolls. People, black people was like, I don't want nothing to do with that. They put voodoo witchcraft on them things. First of all, they look wicked. Secondly, they don't look nothing like me. And thirdly, I ain't got the money because they were extremely expensive. They were unaliving each other over some Cabbage Patch dolls. Because they were really letting us know that they created some kids in these basements and underground tunnels from genetics of humans and other beings. And then they released them on the plane, because if you release all these beings that are not human in North America and all over the world, then the original autogenous people will be then deemed as a minority. You see how that goes? Or they'll look like a minority. They were unaliving each other. Well, black folks like, I don't want nothing to do with it. Well, they wanted their money, right? They even started trying to sell them through Christmas. During Christmas, we still was like, I don't want none of that. So what do they do to get black folks or people classified as black? Y'all need to, if you look at Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she studied and talked about racism and white supremacy and how this ideology was pushed in our psyche in order to make people classified as black to feel like they're less than, and people classified as white to feel like they're greater than. Now, that's not the fault of the people classified as white. They just benefited from it. And the people classified as black were on the other End of that. She talked about how the sports all is racist in the undertones. How it's all about balls and the testicles of the brothers. Oh, she went into all that. But anyway, she wouldn't say black and white. She would say people classified as people classified as, right? People classified as black, people classified as white. We've all been used not only to be against each other, but to continue on with the rhetoric and ideology and behavior of the powers that be, the deep state. I don't want to cause any confusion. I don't want to cause any upsetment. I just want to wake people up. I just want us to stop participating in the system. I want me to stop participating in the system. I'm going to stop. I have to figure this out. I want what's mine. That's all. If your grandfather left you something, you would want what's yours. Now, it's one thing to go to a country and enjoy the freedoms and enjoy the beauty and enjoy the land and have a good time. But then you take your butt, you get right back on the plane, on the boat. Hell, I don't care if you swim back and go home. It's just like any other vacation. But to take somebody's land, take their lands and call it a country club and keep them out of it. Create a government, whoever you elite people are, and then force the people on the land to have a license to travel on their own land is asinine, with ass in front of it. ASS sinine. Preposterous, whatever. Crazy. So, in order to make people classified as black, that the original autogenous people feel like they are a minority, they had to create these Cabbage Patch kids. So they would have these Cabbage Patch dolls. They flooded them in the market. Only people with money would buy them, or people that, had extra cash on hand, because their kids would push them and please, mommy, please buy these dolls, because they put it all on in the commercials. They bought it. So then they lowered the price so that everyday common people can buy these little ugly, raggedy, mangy looking, crazy, Chucky looking dolls. If you ask me, look like a bunch of little Raggedy Ann fat face dolls. Look like they was wicked mixed with something. Bring them little wicked things in the home. Then they was like, we want the black folk ain't buying them. We got to find. Oh man, we got to go on back in the lab and create something that look colored. Paint them a little brown, and some people that look like me start buying them. But then grandma would say, get that wicked looking thing out of here. And if you had an old school grandma, you can't have no dolls in the house. I don't care if it was a Cabbage Patch doll or no doll, because doll was a shortened version of idol. And my mother-in-law and all the ancient grandmothers said, you ain't bringing no darn idols in my house. Just saying how the ancients were. So they had Cabbage Patch Kids, non-player actors, HBCs. Most of the people here and on these lands, the 9 billion people that they say is here, are not human. Only a small, I would say, only a certain percentage of them are. But at some point, especially when the sun comes out, we got a second sun and a third sun, people are going to just start dropping. That's why it's important. Why a lot of them have already left. That's why some of them were trying to hurry up and go to Mars. They're building underground bases. They already know. I'm not talking about the humans. I'm talking about the HB, what do you call them? NPCs, and some of the humans, because they can't survive in the sun. This is why a lot of them that don't have a lot of melanin in their blood are trying to find a way. You eat melons to get melanin. You make love to melanated people, because if a woman that doesn't have melanin starts having sex with a man that has melanin, her womb now has the genetics and the coding and the shedding of that melanin man in her womb that will now allow her to procreate. That's why Hollywood started pushing interracial marriages in the early 2000s after decades of saying don't y'all mix with each other because they need to survive. But when that second and third son come out, people and NPCs, they just gonna go away. And with Nassar and Desar, people gonna go back to their lands. And when we get our right mind back and realize what our lands are, we're gonna start claiming them, and we're gonna get these letters from the government that says we're returning back things over to the original people. So we're all waking up. I'm in gratitude. Geopolitically, a lot is going on to keep us away from waking up knowing that everything's changing and turning back over. My last thing I'll say is it's important for us not to be too caught up or fed, not to feed in too much to mainstream media and all social media and all these jokes that's going on in mainstream media. Behind the scenes, you hear or see case after case, video after video saying that judges are being mass arrested because judges and attorneys have worked to enslave people. They love enslaving the Aboriginal people, of course, but they just love enslaving anybody that they can. Because as Chief Rod Hayes taught us, and some of the other people who preceded him, is that they didn't end slavery; they only transferred it to now making it from individualized slavery to corporate slavery. But look up videos that says judges have been arrested. You'll see a lot of videos. But yeah, there's this one video that's going viral. It was AI generated. There are some judges that we know of that have been arrested that's made it to mainstream media. But most of them won't tell you of judges being arrested because these judges have been actually over. I need to get out because I'm a little woozy. They have been over criminal cartels. They have been involved in not only Epstein cases, but they've been involved in doing a lot of things to children. This was actually discovered in Kentucky when I lived there, that some judges were involved in doing things to children. But let me show you this video here, if they let me. So I'm trying to show you a video, family. I'm not going to show you the whole video. I'm just going to show you the part of it. Viral videos. FBI arrests 28 judges who were secret cartel leaders. How judges by day ran drug empires by night. One thing I can tell you that I do know about a lot of judges is they can get away with almost anything. Judges, many attorneys, and policy enforcers known as police officers. Now, this particular video was not only published here on Raids with ICE, but on other platforms, and it's going viral. It went so viral that when you look it up, word 28 judges arrested, they'll tell you it's a lie. But why would they tell you the truth? Excuse me. Let me see. Oh, they'll all come up. Let's see. Let me look at this article. Crooked judges. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I'm just looking at another platform that shared that. I could show that to you. What's the source here? Gosh, that is going. There's something called crookedjudges.com. Here it is. crookedjudges.com. View exposed cases. I have not clicked on that. But here's that one video again. But here, Allegedly, you can click on here and see cases of judges being arrested. We're going to have to investigate that. I will put that, let me put that in the description section for you. Do you all believe, let me know in the chat, do you believe that judges are being arrested behind the scenes? Here, I'm going to put that, I'll put that right here. But then you go and you Google it, you fact check it. There's some come up called factually. Did 28 judges get charged? You get articles like this. Hi, darling. And they will say there is no credible reporting in the assembled source that 28 federal judges were charged with drug cartel crimes. Available official press releases and court documents describe prosecutions of cartel members, a small number of law enforcement officers, that should tell you something, and high profile foreign leaders accused of narco crimes, but none report 28 federal judges. So you mean to tell me that there are official press releases and court documents that show cartel being comprised of law enforcement, and what's a small amount, okay, because that's relative. Law enforcement officers, high profile foreign leaders, and others are involved in the cartel, but none that say 28 judges. Viral social posts claiming mass arrests of judges exist, but those posts are unverified and not corroborated by the official release and court records included here. Mhm. But there are some official cases, and you can look online where some judges have been arrested for participating in hiding out immigrants, being involved in allowing illegal immigrants that were involved in crimes to remain here. In Louisville, Kentucky, there were some judges that were in trouble because they would sign off on papers that will allow CPS workers to take these statements that were already signed by the judges to go in people's houses and kidnap their children. Yeah, they could just say, hey, we're from CPS. We're from protective service offices, and we have the judge's signature. Didn't even have to be seen by a judge. Didn't even go before a judge. These social workers by work with CPS. It was already signed by the judge. That happened in Louisville, Kentucky when I lived there. So we know they get involved in some criminal activity. Right, right, Jam. Maybe it was 27 judges instead of 28. Right. I like that. Right. You know how they say that. Sister Sonia said the same thing, Dr. Kier. They're saying not all 28 were cartel related, only 27. So 28 is unverified. Absolutely. A lot of judges have been arrested. Thank you, Sister Anna. You guys believe that? Sister Crystal says many higher ups have been arrested. Right. Eric says it's true. Right. Let's go. What? Okay. Hello, Mr. Short. 1987 Short. I think that's Jeffrey. Mr. Short says the dark web speaks of over 100 judges being arrested. Wow. It's Judgment Day. That's what we're saying. It's Judgment Day, family. It's over. It's over. Sister Janine says a mass arrest was going on in the latter part of 2021, 2022, and 2023. Yes, ma'am. They're arrested early morning in their underwear, in their drawers. CPS gets $250,000 per child that they take. Keith, I had no idea. That CPS is part of the government that has to go away. So when the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine, they said that the government agencies, all 444 of them, were unlawful and treasonous and unconstitutional. Therefore, they must be dismantled. CPS is a part of that. That's why we're saying we need to completely disengage. Oh, before I go, I want to acknowledge those of you that sent me Cash App. Thank you so much. Sister Kimberly, let me put a heart there. Sister Kimberly says, I'm thinking about you. Thanks for all that you do. Thank you so much, Sister Kimberly. Yes, because a lot of people, not a lot of people, very few people, some people knew that I was like fighting this, whatever it is, flu or something. It was so crazy that at one point I couldn't breathe. Like I could feel my throat closing. It was hard to swallow, and my chest, was. I kept saying, "Oh, it feels like something running around in my chest." It was wild, but the coughing was the thing that got me. Coughing so violently that I could hardly catch a breath. So thank you for thinking about me, soul family. Um, Mahogany Mayat says, "This is from SRB. Thank you, thank you, sister." So you're SRB super. I can't see the rest of your name, but I saw you here in the chat. Thank you, FRB. Is FRB a gentleman or a lady? Mahogany, I think it's a lady. Brother Larry also sent a Cash App gift. Thank you. Can y'all hear? I need to go in a minute. Thank you. And Brother Larry Brooks sent something. Thank you. Thank you. Brother Richard Grizel says gratitude. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Charles Jenkins says, thank you for the tribal powwow with Chief Ryan Hayes the other day. You're welcome. That was a great meeting. Please go watch that, family. Rodney says, I love you, Dr. Pruitt. Thank you. I love you back. I love you more. Frank O'Brien says, this is a love gift. Thank you so much for the gift, for the donation. Thank you so much. Miller says, thank you for helping with alignment. You're welcome. It's my great pleasure. And who else? I think I got caught up on everybody, but there was someone that sent me a gift through PayPal as well. I want to say thank you. I think his name was Maurice. See if I could find it. I don't see it. Brother Maurice Pinner, thank you so much for your contribution. So family, stay encouraged. Yes, there are 444 government agencies. Would you like to see them? You want to hear it? I wrote a song about it. Like to hear it? Here it go. Government created 444 agencies. But the Supreme Court of the United States in June of 2024 determined that they were all unlawful and treasonous. I don't know if y'all remember that. Like the here it go. That was called, what's the name of that? Colored something. What was the name of that comedy special? Colored something or another, where they had a singing group, two guys that said, I wrote a song about it, like to hear it, here it go. What were the name of them peoples? What were the name of them people's family? Living Color. It was Living Color. Now let me show you the 444 agencies right quick. It is on my YouTube channel in the community section. Then I need to get off here. I said I wasn't going to be long today. But this is important because when the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine, what they said that the Chevron doctrine had given the government unlimited powers to do whatever they want, create any statutes, codes, policies that they wanted, and force people to abide by them. And if they didn't, according to the Chevron doctrine, they could sic their policy enforcers on them. Well, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned that doctrine and said that now things have to change. That's why that happened in 2024. Soon as President Trump came in 2025, he said, okay, Elon Musk, you're going to create the Department of Government Efficiency, to make sure the government is now working what? More effectively. They started downsizing the government right away. They start offering people early retirements. They cut out a whole bunch of jobs. They even had a government shutdown in 2025 that reopened it back up only during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Most likely they did that to stimulate the economy. But they didn't make enough money for that. We told people don't buy them, well, don't waste all your money. The government gonna be shut right back down. Now here we are in February of 2026, and we're under a partial government shutdown because behind the scenes they're downsizing the whole government. They're completely dismantling United States Incorporated. Let me show you where that is. Okay. So if you go to the community section, that's a good question. How can we file a class action lawsuit against the government? Let's look into that. That's going to be my homework. Thank you for that. We go to the community section. There's a section on on YouTube. You have lives, videos, post/community, shorts, yada yada. Go to posts, or can I say community? But it used to say community. Now it says post, POSTS. And you scroll down, you see 3 days ago, it says here are the 444 government agencies that must disband per the Supreme Court of the United States, overturning the Chevron doctrine. And here's the link. This is what my picture looks like. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to show you the link because I already clicked on it for you. Somebody says we're having a congressional shutdown. Just so you can see, it's over. But here are the 444 government agencies. They are in alphabetical order. I'll put that in the description section for you. Right there. Okay. We don't need all these. Right? Administrative Conference of the United States. Administrative Office of the United States. Advisory Council on Historic Preservation. First of all, history, his story. Whose story are you telling? Or preserving even? I think the Aboriginal people can preserve their own stuff. Well, I guess once you steal it, you can preserve it, huh? But it'll be all returned. Agency for International Development, Agricultural Department. Look at all these departments. So if you depart, that means you move away from, right? So what do they do? Depart from the republic, depart from our lawful government, depart from the laws of the land. So what's the opposite of department? Compartment, maybe? So the Agriculture Department got all these underneath them. Air and quality, air transportation, American battle monuments, all this, antitrust, all these organizations. Commerce Department, all this. Commission of Fine Arts, Commission of this and that and another. Councils, defense. Speaking of fence, did you know that the school lunch that they serve to our children in the cafeteria is administered by the Department of Defense? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Why? Defense and nuclear, all this. I'm just going to leave that for you all to read. I put it in the link in the chat, and I will also put it in the description section. Somebody had once asked me to look up HOAs, and I did. It is listed under 5 departments. I don't remember all 5. I have to look at that again. Right, whose history? But it's listed, HOA is listed under 5 departments. One of its Department of Defense. But all of these must be downsized and or completely annihilated. Why I say and or? Because when you think of things like the IRS, you don't need the Internal Revenue Services because first of all, it's unconstitutional to tax the people. That's why Trump said, I'm going to do away with the IRS and create the ERS. He's going to stop taxing the people and start taxing other countries. According to our Constitution for our republic, anything dealing with money needs to come from the United States Treasury Department. That's a part of our lawful government. So you got to do away with the IRS, right? Completely. The Federal Reserve system. We don't need them. But when you think about anything monetarily, that's going to, all those duties are only going to be administered by the Treasury Department. So if there's anything that has to do with the Federal Reserve or the IRS that's benevolent, don't worry. Although we'll crash that, all those people be without jobs, we got the United States Treasury Department that'll handle money. All this other stuff that you need a license to get married, done with. License to fish, done with. License to if your family members transition, done. License for a business, done. Like all those licenses canceled. You don't need a license to do anything on your own land. These people that lost their minds, if they even have a mind, because many of them don't even emote, right? They're not even human. We said that to begin with. But all that is going to be done away with, family. They've been feeding our children sick food. Right. So according to Sister Melissa, and I'm in agreement, this is why President Donald Trump is shutting everything down, because the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine, overturned the doctrine that gave them unlimited powers, the government. That was actually something that whole overturning the Chevron doctrine was in alignment with motu proprio. Remember the video I did on motu proprio? And that's where I read the letter from Pope Francis that says that our time is up. United States Incorporated has to be dismantled. And if we don't, a grand army of the Republic will be formed to take the government down, with General Ham over the army to take us down. We must cease and desist immediately. That's what Pope Francis said. All policy enforcers, police officers, all court officials, attorneys, and judges, which, by the way, I don't have anything against individual attorneys and judges. Most people that work in these jobs were trying to get a degree or credentials to feed themselves, to take care of their families. They probably did. Most of them, I would say, did not know that they were working on behalf of the British Accredited Registry, meaning they worked on behalf of the British Crown. Excuse me. So if you have Esquire behind your name, or you have an attorney's license, or you are a judge, I'm not speaking against you personally. I don't have anything personally against you. Just like I don't have anything personally against me. I have a PhD. I went to their school of indoctrination. I appreciate what I learned. I appreciate the information that I took to use for my benefit. But we don't need their institutions to further enslave us or to take our money to tell us how to operate on our own lands. I don't care what lands you're from. The old system is collapsing. The Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine, and it said that not only were the 444 government agencies unconstitutional and unlawful, but every judge that went along with it, they also committed treason. And every judge that forced people to pay those fines when they should not have, they committed treason. They were unconstitutional. They will have to be dealt with. And every judge that knew of a judge that participated and didn't report this to the president, they committed misprision of treason. So the Supreme Court of the United States, yes, overturned the Chevron doctrine around June. And then the Supreme Court of the United States came back and they said that state-sponsored banks can operate independently from and outside of the Federal Reserve central banking system. They can have their own charter and issue out their own gold-backed currencies. What were they doing? They were essentially saying that the Federal Reserve Central system is collapsing, is being taken down, and now state sponsored banks that are Basel compliant and compliant according to the republic of each state, are now sovereign. They can issue their own gold backed currencies. That's why they started pushing out gold backs. Now you can go to your local coin company and buy gold backs. And you look at my videos on gold backs and gold RM notes, or research it, and you'll see that you can buy gold right now or gold RM notes, which is 14 karat gold pressed onto a note, and use those notes to buy local goods and services. And those notes are as little as $10 per note. That's 24 karat gold on the note. Speaking of gold and silver, I reported this when my local coin dealer told me that even though silver at the time had gone up to over $100, he said it's going to come down back down to $70. I was like, how is that? I couldn't see it. I don't know if I reported to my private membership group or to you all. Here we are. Silver is $77. Gold is almost 5,000. It was 4,900. I asked economist Dex Lattimore, what should we do when we see prices going down like that? He said, buy the dip. Buy the dip. So if you're in the market, you desire gold and silver, then go to your local coin dealer. It's a good thing to do to establish a relationship with your local coin dealer. Google coin dealer near me or numismatics near me, and go get you some coins, some real money. It feels good in your hand, feels good on your body. It's real money. It's lawful money according to Article 1, Section 10 of our republic. Or if you want to go to an online dealer, you can contact my affiliate, Miles Franklin, at 952-929-7006, or send an email to info@milesfranklin.com and let them know you heard about Miles Franklin from Dr. Kia Pruitt. And you will get excellent prices. Okay. There are other online dealers as well. But if you want to get it in your possession right away, go to your local coin dealer family. Okay. I like that. But so Botani says, Botanica, forgive me, brother, 888 says, Dr. Pruitt, it would be great if you would designate a day and time for all of us to meditate for 30 minutes or so on manifesting empowerment of we the people. When's a good time, family? Let's dedicate a time to meditate or send positive vibrations, send positive thought, and declare it to be so. Thank you so much for that. For our prosperity to be given right back to us. Thank you. I love that. I'll think of a day as well. Some people don't like things like that. They think it's witchcraft. I love it because even scripture says, when 2 or 3 people are gathered in my name, I'll be in the midst. Even in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established, is an old saying. Yes, Brother Keith is correct. We will be refunded for all the fines that we've paid. That's true. Mm. I would think about what you said, brother. It does sound great. During the Super Bowl, Peaceful Journey says, while they're doing their rituals, we do ours. When is the Super Bowl? Okay, Botanikai. Botanikai. Thank you. Says you're welcome. Okay. So during the Super Bowl, while they're doing our rituals, we're commanding the multiverse, commanding the universe to give us back our wealth. I'm talking about we the people of all nationalities, all ethnic. We the people have our wealth returned, our lands returned, and our freedoms and prosperity. We're sending out positive vibrations and proclamations for everything to be returned. Servant says it also needs to be paired with action. We must actually live that which we speak. I love that. Oh, and we're going to speak to protect our children on the, thank you, to protect all children on our earth. Thank you for saying that, Divine Talk TV, because too often we forget, and just how soon we forget. I forgot to mention the children. Thank you so much. So let me see what time the Super Bowl is. Time and day of the Super Bowl. That way we're reversing what they whatever any if they're doing any evil, we're reversing it. It's Sunday. Oh, it's today, February the 8th. What time is it? 6:30 p.m. The kickoff starts at 6:30 p.m. tonight, February 8th. Okay. But you guys said that between the New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks. All right. So at 6:30 p.m., we'll be meditating. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Today. Okay. Yes. Big balance. We agreed that it should be today. Tell us the date now as well as what we're meant. Okay, so we say it's today around around 6:30 tonight. We're meditating during the Super Bowl, and what are we asking for, fam? Or what are we demanding? What are we commanding? I love this idea. We're not going to the Super Bowl. Protect our baby. Okay, that's number one. Protect our babies. We asking Mother Earth to protect the babies and to deliver our babies home that have been stolen. Some of the children have been discovered, recovered. Brother Jeffrey Short says, don't forget about copper. Today at 6:30. Okay. Return our babies, protect our babies. Number one. No, no, we're not watching. We're not watching the Super Bowls, Sister Janine. We're just sending our thoughtful meditations into the universe to return our children home and return our wealth. Sister Jula says 5:30 Central Time. We're not watching it. Most of us wouldn't watch it here. You felt that. Okay. Even if it's not during Super Bowl, the brother is saying whatever time you can spare tonight, whatever time. If you don't want to do it at the Super Bowl time, we can respect that. We're commanding our money, our land, and protection of the children. Thank you, Sister Crystal. We command the return of our money, the return of our land, and protection of our babies, and return and protection of our babies. I think that's something good to end on. Thank you, Sister Crystal. Yes, Sister Janine, safety for our babies. So, having said that, family, I love you all so very much. I appreciate all your time and your love. I know people have things to do. It's Sunday night. I do feel better. Thank you so much. I took the oregano, black seed oil. I've been taking a few things to try to help me feel better, but it was the coughing that I was having a hard time dealing with. I also want to thank Sister Tiffany Webb for giving me a Cash App donation. I appreciate you. I love you all so very much. Sister Cynthia recap, commanding wealth, transference and protection of all indigenous souls, young and old, protection of children all over planet Earth. The veil, yes, the veil of darkness must be removed and destroyed from the whole land, the planet. All right, are we all on one accord? Mm. Brother Jeffrey said where they're doing a Super Bowl, they have underground tunnels there. Thank you, Sister Crystal. Again, she says you're welcome. And so be it. So be it, family. So be it. Peaceful Journey says unity, health, love, strength, and protection. That's right. Ashe. In the name of our ancestors, Sister Joanne says, in Jesus' name, in the name of the ancestor, ascended master, the Christ, Jesus, in the name of your ancestor, in the name of my ancestor. Thank you so much, J Block. Okay, I'll get some rest. My son made me some tea with ginger too. Clove, thank you. I'm going to go out and get some of that right away. Thank you so much. Somebody mentioned that the other day. Oh, okay. I'll call Jacob Bay. He might see if he want to come on tomorrow, because he was stuck in that ice storm in Tennessee when he had no electricity for days. I'll check on him as soon as we get off. All right, family. I love you so much. Take care. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your comments and your suggestions of what I need to take to get rid of whatever it is, all these toxins that are trying to come out of my body. Castor oil. Thank you. Gratitude to you all too. I love you, family. We'll be sending our thoughts and positive vibrations into the universe for the protection of our children, for the retrieval of our children, for our wealth, return of our wealth, return of our land, for love, unity, peace, prosperity, all of these things that we've been spoken out. We command it to be so because we have that type of power. And just by the way, I'll do that, sister. Thank you. I have a video that talks about commanding, how we have the power to command. In my it's on the video section of my YouTube channel. That's it, family. I love you all so much. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I hope I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Bye-bye, Soul Tribe. I'm going to go out, play the outro music, and if you have any questions or comments, I'll bring them up on the screen. Peace, family. I love you. Remember, 6:30, we're going to start with our positive vibrations going out to the universe. And if you feel like speaking it, we're going to speak it as well. We command our wealth. We command the return of our babies and the protection of our babies. We command the return of our land. We command unity, love, peace, and prosperity for all peoples, all across the line, all across the world. Peace, fam. I love you so much. Bye-bye. Go make this a great day. Bye-bye.
Shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching reaching past to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day.
Hey, Soul Tribe, I found what I was looking for. Let me stop this right quick. I'm sorry. Somebody mentioned the EBS. Will there be an emergency broadcast system announcement? Hold on one second. I love you all. Somebody said, oh, Sister Janine, thank you. Hold on. I hope we still have 510 people. So hold on. Look at this. This is what I was talking about here. Many of you have seen this. This is that. Okay. The symbol for the Super Bowl, February 8, 2026. You see what it looks like here? The same colors, yellow, the light blue, the green, the fuchsia, the red, the royal blue. Let's look at this Q drop. 2-8. USSS on high alert. Q. Let's see. I don't know what this is. 211. This was on February 11, 2018. Do people believe all recent resignations, plane crashes, plane routers, EMS, EBS activations, blackouts are simply a coincidence? But they highlighted EB activation to let us see that this possibly could be a time where they activate the emergency broadcast system announcement. So back in the day, some of you might not know this, but they used to actually have emergency broadcast announcements where the screen would turn black or a certain color. Then these colors would show up, or some colors, but oftentimes it was these colors. And they would have like an emergency announcement, breaking news, something breaking that they needed to get out. Mainstream media needed to get out right away. Or they will have a presidential emergency alert system announcement or a presidential EBS. A presidential EBS was an emergency announcement that the president would use. He would break through the radio programming, whatever was on the radio, whatever's on TV, any commercials, whatever, break through and circumvent mainstream media reporting, whatever mainstream media. The president would make his own announcement. But you would hear, this is an alert. This is an alert. This is an emergency broadcasting system announcement. Beep. This is an emergency broadcasting system announcement. Beep. Sometimes it would be a test. It would be, this is a test. This is only a test. Beep. And you would see the flashing colors. But then sometimes there would be an emergency announcement. So these are the Super Bowl colors, again, for this particular symbol. And it resembles the EBS system, emergency broadcast system announcement. Just to bring that to your attention. You remember that back in the day? Yes. Those of us that were born in the 60s, 70s, we remember that. I hope so too. You see the colors? Yes. All right, family. I just wanted to show you that before I got out of here. I so hope this is what happens, family. We've been waiting on that. They've been saying we're going to get an announcement. And when that announcement happens, you're going to know this all over for them. They're going to tell you about all the trafficking that has happened. I should say trafficking trade that has happened with the children, all the arrests. That's what we've been told for years since Trump's first administration. And then after the emergency broadcast system announcement, they said it would happen at a time when everybody's in their homes, right? Super Bowl Sunday, that's when everybody's in their home. We just had a snow and an ice storm. Everybody's in their homes. They said they will make sure everybody's in their home so that this announcement will come on. They will let you know about the taking down of the deep state and the resurrection of the republic. And then at the same time, Nasara would be released, is what we heard. The national, look at my Nasara videos if you want to know about all of the benefits. Oh, you got to go check. Okay, you got to go charge your phone. Okay. All right. And that's all I'll say. And then NASARA will be released along with so-called, it's not really universal basic income. It's like that where everybody will be paid out tens of thousands per month, plus have access to all of your trust and your land and your wealth, no matter who you are, where you come from. Okay. So that's it, fam. I just want to come back on and show you that. And we'll get out of here. Enjoy the music for the rest of the day. And remember, we're sending out positive vibrations starting at 6:30 for at least 30 minutes till 7 or all the rest of the evening if you choose. I love you.
From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
Bye bye, Soul Tribe. See you later. Peace. Go and make this a great day.